Okay, this is Justin Ruger with Beekeeping with Disabilities and more. And today we have Steve from Hives for Heroes. How are you doing, Steve?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks for being here. So I wanted to start off with asking you, are you actually a beekeeper?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So how
Beekeeping.
long have you been beekeeping?
About 3 years. Started in late 2018.
And then did you get started with Hives for Heroes, or did
Well, we created Hives for Heroes. So in 2018, I was pretty in a bad place. Transition was very rough for me, coming back from the Marine Corps, and as a friend invited me to kind of get out of myself and get off my couch, I guess you could say, and go out and do some beekeeping. And that experience pretty much changed my life. So I literally say that bees saved my life by letting me become a part of them. Um, Going into the world of um, anxiety, I had a lot of anxiety. So going into that, the adrenaline rush, the amazing systems and processes that are founded through inspecting hives, and then being able to find success in that really shifted my perspective of life.
yeah, my sister just got out of the Marine Corps. She's in Jacksonville, North Carolina right now.
Sweet, man. How
I
long?
think
How
she
long?
made it 17 years.
17 years, man. Well, thank her for her service. Hopefully, she's listening right now.
I will. So tell us a little bit about your nonprofit Hives for Heroes.
Yeah, so we're a national network of beekeepers that connect veterans to beekeeping literally all across the country. And we do that to provide purpose and relationships in local communities. So as we get out of ourselves and see the world as a bigger place, we're able to experience the world in a greater way. And as we connect with each other, the relationships deepen, and there's just more value to life that way. And I had a friend yesterday come over who's never done anything with bees, and he said it was the best experience of his life. Like, he was able to actually feel the emotions. He went through a lot of things, the joy, like a bee was crushed, and he's like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually like upset at myself right now. But then the beauty of what the bees are, and how they can how they can do just amazing things in our mental health, and our spiritual health, and our emotional health. And then, of course, being outside in nature and seeing the healing properties of just being outside.
Yes, and the surreal feeling when you're in swarms and are able to find the queen and 50,000 bees in a hive.
Oh yeah, he didn't have to deal with that. I don't know if he would have been. I don't think he would have been doing that one the first time. That was like me. My first experience was in a controlled, setting with a beekeeper. My first swarm and first removal and relocation was a whole different ball game. I remember
So
those
do you go
being
ahead?
overwhelmed and going like, "Oh my gosh, I can't quit this!" Right? Like, you're going into an unknown environment, trusting yourself, trusting your suit, your gear, trusting the buddy that I was with at the time. But it's controlled chaos. It's everywhere. And you have to look at the safety of others in the areas. You have to look at doing a good job. And then, kind of taking care of those bees and keeping them safe in order to relocate them into a yard, right? And
Yes.
that was just like almost too much going on at one point. Uh, but when you experience it and you're able to work through it, that now sets you up for success in the regular world, right? Now you can
Yes,
process things that are like, oh, that was super overwhelming and I still accomplished it, or we accomplished it. We can do that again.
and we can do anything.
We could do anything. Exactly.
So is there a way to join the mentor network without being a veteran or a first responder?
Great question. Absolutely. We look for everybody that can possibly join. A lot of beekeeping associations all across the country. The only requirement is to have 3 or more years of beekeeping experience. And that's because we all know what it looks like in our first and second years. So you don't have to
Chaos.
absolutely right. You don't have to be the world's best beekeeper. I tell everybody we are a people organization that utilizes bees and nature to heal. So we're not the world's best experts in bees, but we do know a little bit about trauma. We do know about nature's healing and how the bees have changed our lives specifically. So it's easy to go to hivesforheroes.com and sign up to be a mentor in an application on there. That will go into our database, and you'll receive a welcome email pretty instantaneously. And then as we
Okay.
continue to move forward, we'll be looking for a newbie in your local area. So please be patient with us. The way that we match is by geography. So we want to get you about 30 miles or closer to somebody that you can actually experience the bees with, build a relationship with. And then we also ask you not to, go in and just jump in and buy bees. Your mentor already has them. Let's minimize some of those
Yes.
expenses and costs, and that emotional burden that it takes whenever a lot of us have, including myself, lost bees to absconding or doing something with small hive beetles that I didn't do correctly, or mites or anything like that. That can be pretty. It's pretty hurtful. I think we've all lost at least one and understand that you're losing lives.
Yes. So you recommend that they start with the mentor at the mentor's hives before they actually get into their own purchasing their own equipment.
100%. And we have a lot of backing from that, from like the state beekeeping associations and education facilities, because people go into beekeeping with the best of intentions, right? I want to help. I want to do something great. And that's fantastic. The problem is we don't know as much as we think we do. And so you go into it and you go, man, I failed, right? Or some feeling of failure. And we want to eliminate or reduce that feeling of failure.
Especially when you're working with people with limitations and disabilities.
Absolutely. Disabilities, PTS, TBI, there's a lot of things that go in there. But just always, as well, for the mentors, remember that somebody that's looking to work on themselves isn't like typically dangerous, right? We get questions
Yes.
like that. It's somebody that's actually getting outside of themselves, trying to heal. And our mentors aren't therapists. They're not, specialized in any areas. They're just friends in the community. We're just doing this together.
Okay. So you have a conference coming up March 4th this weekend.
Yeah,
Are
March
you
5th.
excited about that?
Oh my
Sorry,
gosh.
March 5th.
We can't be more excited. This is, man, Kevin Monfelt from Nebraska recognized that there wasn't a Nebraska State Beekeeping Conference, and he just kind of wanted one. And before you know it, he's calling people, asking people for stuff. You have sponsorships from all over the place. You can find it on Eventbrite, Hives for Heroes Nebraska Conference. You can find it on Facebook, on our Facebook page, on our Instagram page,
Yes.
and a link to our bios on Linktree. But I'm talking major, what I consider celebrities, right? Like you're talking about
Yes.
some massive people: Bob Benny, Ian Stepler, Kaven Reynolds, Buzz Vance, and Greg Burns, that are just become friends. And this all is happening because of beekeeping. This would have never happened anywhere else other than in a beekeeping world, in my opinion, because people are so caring, they're giving, they put things in the right places, right? And they're giving of their time, knowledge, and talent, just like all our mentors do, to do something better in the world.
Yeah, so I met with Cayman, and Ian Stepler was supposed to be there, and Greg Burns and Castle Hives, Brian, all of those I met at Hive Life Conference.
At the Hive Life. Okay, cool. And then we have the Tennessee conference going on at the same time. So we have Craig Midget's going to be our mentor out there, that's actually setting up an information table out at the Tennessee conference, because Cayman's going to be there and zoom into ours. And then this past weekend, I was just at the Nevada State Beekeeping Conference with so many freaking names out there. Oregon State University with Dr. Ramesh. Let's see, Randy Oliver, Blake Shook from Texas Bee Supply and Desert Creek Honey. Just amazing people that are contributing or giving time and advice to Hives for Heroes, so that we can become a better organization for the veterans in which we serve.
Okay. So what limitations in beekeeping have you come across working as a mentor?
Working as a mentor, man, that's a great question. Limitations. I would say for me, it would be knowledge. So although I'm 3 years in, it doesn't mean I know everything, but it makes it for a really cool opportunity to continue learning and then show what continuous learning looks like. So in our organization, as long as you're being legal, moral, and ethical, we ask you to be as creative as you'd like to be. The mentors train people as you would have liked to have been trained, not how you were trained.
Yes.
In the
I
Marine Corps,
would have
that's not a
liked
great
to.
idea. But as long as you can, just be a good person, try to do, the utmost of the right things, again, legally, morally, and ethically correct, you're putting yourself and your mentor and your newbie in a really, really good position to be successful. And if nothing else, you'll have what we hope to be is a lifelong hobby of beekeeping and a friendship for life as well.
Okay, so what about those with disabilities? How does Hives for Heroes help those? Because
Great.
I myself, a little bit about myself, I was a PhD student in nuclear physics before I had a stroke, and my mother got me into beekeeping before I had my stroke, and I had the stroke, and we had to lose our hives
Wow.
because of that. And a homeowners association said they were livestock.
Wow.
I turned to actually writing books.
I love it. I didn't know that, and thank you so much for continuing like doing amazing in the world. Like that is pretty fantastic that you've been able to overcome that and be an example to others. So first and foremost, thank you. That's
Thank
absolutely,
you.
and thank you for being able to share that. For us, everything is individual based. Although we're an international brand, it's
Yes.
still very individual, right? So when it comes to we do one hive, one newbie, and one mentor. And then we take that as the core of the organization. Everything else doesn't matter. Those three things matter: a hive, a newbie, and a mentor. And so we're able to tailor things depending on what are the needs in that specific spot. And we kind of break down from state representatives to more local representatives. And then on the Hives for Heroes support channel, like support at hivesforheroes.com, or even on the Facebook page, we do as much as we can in order to put those resources in their hands. We're not perfect by any means. We're always asking for feedback. We have issues where we're like trying to connect somebody and emails don't respond or things like that.
Yeah.
But we have things to work on. But the intent of the organization is pretty freaking amazing, and we've had a lot of success with over 2,500 people in the organization between Houston. I'm sorry, Houston. Houston's our headquarters, but in between the United States and even Australia now.
Okay, so for people like me who are in a wheelchair, how do you help people with physical disabilities like that? Do you have tips and tricks that you teach your mentors, or do you offer them with hardware that helps with hive maintenance? Or
Yeah.
what does Hives for Heroes actually do for somebody who might be more limited than in a physical way?
So the first thing is it needs to be communicated. We don't know everything, on the
Yeah.
globe, right? But in Arkansas, for example, we funded Slovenian hives, and that was pretty cool. So that goes to disabled veterans that are out there, so they can wheel in, utilize, the difference of a Slovenian hive. I'm sure most of your audience knows that, and then we want to continue to kind of mirror that, if that makes sense. So, like top bar hives are great for things like that. Even some guys have like a top bar Langstroth, where they put like a Langstroth on top of the wider top bar,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool for the honey production. I would say again, going back to the being as creative as possible, we want to support with that. So if there's a question that you have, like, hey, I have a disability, it's XYZ. If you're comfortable with sharing that, even on the Facebook group page, you will get a response. I promise. There's a
Okay.
ton of information and knowledge out there. So this isn't like Hives for Heroes runs everything. We just administratively coordinate things and let the community take a life of its own.
Okay, I understand that because I'm working on putting together a nonprofit to put pollinator gardens and hives into schools and clubs.
Oh, that's fantastic. We just partnered with Humble ISD in the Houston area to do a prototype with that. So Humble ISD, in collaboration with like Desert Creek Honey, they've done a lot. Blake Shook actually started beekeeping when he was 12, so he's a lot of experience in the youth area. So we want to do a
Okay.
collaboration there to be able to kind of not standardize everything, but give a good program for the students, that's repeatable, right? So as people, graduate or move out of the high schools, then the next person can come in and kind of fill that same framework and be successful as the years go on.
Okay. And then I think that's about it. We talked about your conference. You talked about Hives for Heroes, how they can go to the website, which I have here.
There it is. Yeah, everything's on the website. The clicking through the website can be a little bit overwhelming. We tried to put a lot of information on there. So you can go from the home to the about us. We have one pagers on there. We have QR codes. We have a bunch of information, who we are, what we do, how you get involved, how you support, just a ton of information on there.
Okay, and then is there anything else that you would like to share for people that are veterans or future mentors?
Yeah. So first to the veterans, sign up. There's no risk to you. Like, come out. We'll try to hook you up with a mentor as soon as we possibly can. If you're not hooked up with the mentor yet, you'll be able to get on the Facebook group page, ask questions, see the stories, and just kind of get comfortable getting involved. It's a very active Facebook page. And then to the mentors, please sign up. Even if it's going to take you a while to get somebody, it's better to have a mentor ready and available than it is for us to be finding the mentor after the newbie has applied. So thank you first off to all the people that are involved. Y'all are amazing. You already know it because we talk about this often. Just in a public setting, thank you so much for the mentors, the newbies that are involved, the sponsors and volunteers, all our partners across the country, all the beekeeping associations and the universities that are part of this. Thank you so much for the support. And again, those mentors, just if you are interested in the organization at all, please sign up to be a mentor on the Hive page, and we would be so glad to have you.
Have you reached out to the agro ability in each state?
So the extensions we have, is that what you the
Yeah, the
extension
AGR ability, the
Yeah, so
extensions with
typically kind of our typical is we go to the state beekeeping associations, get with the like AgriLife here in Texas, which is our extension, and then also the universities for the research side. So we want to be able to collaborate as much as possible. Any
okay.
support, again, any support that we get isn't Hives for Heroes coming and saying we're experts and know this stuff. If we're going to
Yes.
share something, it's coming from actual experts that know, and they're just collaborating and saying, you know what, if you have this pool of interested beekeepers, that's what Randy Oliver did. He said, just send them to my website. Go to the first year of beekeeping. Let them have that. So you're able to create your own identity in beekeeping. It's not one way for everything.
Yes.
No, right? But you can learn and collaborate together and learn who you want to become in beekeeping, and that's the most important piece. How do we provide purpose, an opportunity? How do we provide an opportunity to find purpose and build relationships in the local areas?
Okay. I appreciate you being on here and telling us about Hives for Heroes, and thank you for everything that you're doing to support our veterans and first responders, and also for putting this network together so that people can share beekeeping and what they love with other people.
Oh man, we love it. It's a labor of love. This is a true passion in life, and we're just grateful to be able to do it.
Okay. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Bye.